This morning on Wake Up Nonstop Local, tragedy at LaGuardia. The airport in New York still shut down after a deadly collision between a plane and a fire truck on the runway. What led up to it, with 2 people dead, dozens more injured.
And ICE agents step in at the airport. Will they help ease long lines at airport security? Where they're headed, coming up.
Also this morning, historic heat.
150 weather records broken. The scorching temps across the Southwest. Justin Spinney tracking the extreme temperatures.
Unfortunately, we aren't dealing with temperatures like that. The inland Northwest, a little bit above average today, and we got some sunshine, but big changes are on the way with the weather system headed our direction. We'll talk about those changes coming up in your forecast.
Wake up, you gotta rise to the sun, and here it comes, it's time to make the best of what you got to give. It's all about rising, and I wanna be there.
Our top story this morning, 2 people are dead after a plane crashed on the runway at LaGuardia Airport in New York.
The Port Authority says an Air Canada plane collided with a Port Authority fire truck on the runway late last night. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kalai Chalk.
And I'm Sam Adams. Both the pilot and the co-pilot on board the aircraft were killed in the crash. There were 76 passengers, 4 crew members on board the plane. This is according to Jazz Aviation, which operates as Air Canada Express. In total, 41 people were treated in local hospitals, some seriously injured.
The airline says the flight was coming in from Montreal. This morning, investigators are looking into how the collision happened and what led up to it. LaGuardia is closed until 11 o'clock Pacific time this morning.
Bit of a chilly start to the day for many of us, but we're coming off a really nice weekend where a lot of us did see the sunshine, and we could have more of that in the forecast depending on where you are in the region today. As we look toward Yakima, we are right at freezing right now at 32. The Tri-Cities at 34. Spokane just barely below freezing at 31. The heaviest cloud cover in the region right now is actually over the Tri-Cities. So as we flip on over to our satellite and radar, you can see those clouds are sitting mainly south of I-90, but even down there, I do think those clouds will clear out a little bit more as we head later into the day. The peak of the sun is coming later this morning into early this afternoon, but by tomorrow we are preparing for the rain to make its arrival. Widespread rain expected across the region. Lowest rainfall totals will be toward areas like the Palouse and the LC Valley. Highest rainfall totals are going to be up into northeast Washington and the North Idaho Panhandle. We're talking more about those changes and how temperatures are going to be affected throughout the week coming up in just a few more minutes. Sam and Clyde.
Okay, Justin, thanks. To a traffic alert now on US 195. Highway will be down to 1 lane in each direction at Meadow Lane Road.
And this project is looking to address that notoriously dangerous intersection between Eagle Ridge and Qualchin Golf Course. Nonstop Locals Jared Cottingham live this morning from 195, where that project is about to begin.
If you're traveling towards Pullman this morning on US 195, watch out for an active construction zone here at the intersection of Meadow Lane Road and US 195. I just spoke with construction crews, and within the last hour, they've pushed in cones towards the highway to minimize it to 1 lane. The purpose of this J-turn project is all about safety. The area has been dangerous for cars turning onto the highway to go south on 195. Starting this morning, crews will bring it down to 1 lane in each direction along Highway 195 at Meadow Lane. They'll put in a J-turn and some sidewalks near Eagle Ridge. They should be working through mid to late July. Meadow Lane Road on both sides of the highway should be open the entire project. It won't be until the end where the intersection coming from the neighborhood on Meadow Lane Road and US 195 will close. While the workers are out here, you're asked to slow down, be alert, and follow the signs and flaggers. When the project is complete, this J-turn will make it much safer for drivers going north and south on 195. Total project cost is estimated to be just under $2,500. Crews are expecting to complete it from mid to late July. Reporting in Spokane, Jared Cottingham, Nonstop Local.
Jared, thank you. To a crime tracker alert, where authorities have now arrested 3 people after a narcotics investigation in Clarkston.
The Quad Cities Drug Task Force says they found just over 3/4 of a pound of methamphetamine inside a home on the 1300 block of 6th Street. Police arrested 3 suspects. 1 man faces multiple drug charges. 2 others have outstanding warrants.
Police also say this is still an active investigation. And in a safety alert right now, the Yakima River reaching minor flood stage is overnight just west of the Tri-Cities.
Water levels are reaching more than 13 feet near the Keona Gauge in Benton City. That's where we find our reporter, Chris Wright, this morning.
Good morning, guys. Now, earlier this morning, we were expecting it to be way worse than it actually is right now. This is kind of a recreational boat landing trail area here right across the bridge into Benton City. So to my right, to your left, my right, those usually are trails, right, that are kind of hugging that riverside. And behind me is the boat landing. You see a little bit of that water moving quickly down that way. But like you were saying, Clyde, it's not nearly as bad as we originally thought it was going to be. So we'll go ahead and show you kind of what we've been tracking throughout this morning. Now, this is according to NOAA. That crest was expected to be earlier this morning at 5 a.m. It was originally forecast to be well over 13.5 feet, now sticking closer to 13 feet and hugging that minor flooding line after rainfall upstream to the west turned out to be less than anticipated. However, this is still enough for a level 1 ready evacuation notice for residents from West Richland to Benton City around the river, according to Benton County Fire District 2. Now, something else of note, the Natchez River between Yakima and Natchez expecting to stay in that minor flood stage throughout this week, hitting another crest Wednesday afternoon around 5 p.m. So stay alert if you live or are driving in that stretch of US 12 or along the river. Now, folks here in Benton City, across the street, Beach RV Park, we were covering some of the flooding late last year. Folks around US 12 are also no stranger to these flood warnings. As always, keep an eye on our coverage, keep an eye on what it's looking like out there, and make sure that you're keeping up with all the updates with Benton County Fire District as well. But for now, live from Benton City, Chris Wright, NonStop Local.
All right, Chris, thanks. Let's get to our top local headlines and from Tri-Cities in Yakima now.
With more, here's Colby and Brad.
Tracking crime this morning in Kennewick. No injuries reported after a number of drivers reported a car driving recklessly the wrong way down Highway 395. Callers told police the car was heading south in the northbound lanes. Officers found the car stopped on the highway facing the wrong way. The driver's in jail on suspicion of driving under the influence. A 15-year-old girl arrested for making a threat towards other students at Phoenix High School. Kennewick police say a student showed the message to a parent who then reported that to police. After working with the Benton County Prosecutor's Office, they found probable cause to arrest the teen who wrote the message. That whole process only lasted 2 hours. She was taken into custody at home and booked into the Juvenile Justice Center. Additional security was provided to Phoenix High School Friday morning out of an abundance of caution. Ellensburg police say they arrested a man after a fire damaged a church. Officers say the fire broke out at a church in the 200 block of North Ruby Street. Church staff gave police video surveillance that helped identify the suspect. Police found the man near University Way and C Street and arrested him after a short standoff. No one was hurt. Police say the man is accused of first-degree arson. Surveillance video from church staff helped identify the suspect. Officers found and arrested the man near University Way and C Street. After a brief standoff, no injuries were reported. For NonStop Local, I'm Colby and Brad.
Colby, thank you. President Donald Trump says that ICE agents will start backing up TSA agents starting today to speed up those airport security lines. They've grown dramatically since the start of the Homeland Security shutdown.
The White House hasn't said which airports will have ICE agents, but the president's border czar says they'll prioritize the airports with the longest lines first. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington, D.C.
Beginning today at airports across the country, agents in a different uniform set to greet travelers inching through crowded security lines.
I don't know, a couple of thousand people all right now.
President Trump announced on social media ICE agents would come in to help TSA. His border czar, Tom Homan, saying they would take on tasks like securing exits and checking IDs.
Well, ICE isn't trained on x-rays and look at x-rays, see if there's, is something dangerous in that luggage. Well, no kidding, and we're not going to be doing that.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy suggested otherwise.
TSA agents are law enforcement. They know how to pat people down. They know how to run the X-ray machines because they are, again, under Homeland Security with TSA.
Homan said details were being worked out just yesterday.
Anything to get things going.
As some travelers raise concerns.
Putting ICE in there just, to me, elevates tensions unnecessarily.
Funding Funding to the Department of Homeland Security has been cut off for more than a month, with Democrats pushing for changes to immigration enforcement operations. DHS says more than 400 TSA officers have quit since the shutdown began. Thousands more calling out as they miss paychecks again.
Checking accounts are wiped out. We haven't recovered from the last two that we've had before.
While the two political parties point fingers, TSA and travelers paying the price, with lines like here in New Orleans snaking to the parking lot. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Well, it's starting to feel like spring here in the inland Northwest, but Mother Nature just skipped ahead to the middle of summer for states in the Southwest.
All right, let's get back to Justin in the Weather Center. Justin, we see the numbers right behind you. We shouldn't be seeing triple digits this early.
No, some of these numbers are just unreal for March. In fact, several cities setting record high temperatures, not just daily high temperature records, but the highest they've ever recorded in the month of March in general. And it's not just limited to the desert Southwest. There's other parts of the nation seeing those record high temperatures, including Boise, Billings at 83 degrees, Denver with a new March record at 86, San Francisco at 89, but of course the warmest temperatures in the desert Southwest, Vegas at 97, Phoenix all the way up to 105, and Phoenix didn't just have one day of 105, 2 days of 105 with 4 days in the triple digits at the end of last week into this last weekend. Today, believe it or not, is actually a little bit of a cool down, but still very hot out there. A new daily high temperature record expected to be set in Phoenix and Las Vegas with those highs still in the 90s. Surprisingly, despite that heat, some people spent the day outside, but not everyone was prepared. At an air show in Phoenix this weekend, more than 400 people were treated and a dozen hospitalized for heat-related issues. The extreme heat forced organizers to end that show early. Now, in case you were wondering, the hottest temperature ever recorded in Spokane in the month of March, 75 degrees, and that was just last year, Sam and Clive.
More like it, though. Thank you, Justin. All right, well, folks in Alabama might have a hard time right now finding a rubber ducky or two for their bath time.
That's because 4,000 of them were dumped into a lake in Mobile, Alabama as part of an annual rubber ducky regatta. People buy a floating fowl and then they're dropped into the water. They float down a course, and you win a prize if your duck crosses the finish line first.
Proceeds benefiting the Ronald McDonald House, which of course provides a home away from home for families so that they can be close to their children while they're in the hospital at little to no cost. All told, this event raised $30,000. So you get a rubber ducky or two or three or four or five, and you hope it's the first to cross the finish line. They get a prize.
Okay, yeah, all kinds of creative ways for Ronald McDonald House to earn money around here. I think it's the SK Ball.
Yeah, great cause.
All right, still to come here on Wake Up Nonstop Local. If you've been thinking about switching to an electric vehicle, now might be the best time. One report says it has nothing to do with high gas prices, though.
Also this morning, Iran may now add banks that do business with the U.S. to its list of targets. We'll have that coming up in your morning business report.
Well, Dave and Molly, our friends from across the newsroom, are joining us talking about what's coming up on your podcast. And you guys are talking about sleep apps.
We are. Sleep is a big, important thing for us morning people.
Yes.
Okay.
But could it be hurting you?
Yes, well, if you're tracking your sleep, there's a new study out of Norway that says it could be. There is a name for it called orthosomnia, by the way. It means having an unhealthy obsession with getting perfect sleep data. 18% of users said sleep trackers make them more worried. 14% say that it makes them feel like something was wrong with their sleep. So what say you guys?
It may be doing more harm than good. I think people think about, oh, I have to get to sleep, and then that creates the anxiety, and then you don't get the good sleep that you were hoping to get in the first place.
And must we be
So they say.
judged for every little thing we do? It's bad enough that I'm checking my calories and the walking and all that. Now sleeping?
Yeah, and not only that, like in the olden days, you would wake up and go, oh, I feel good. I must have had a good night's sleep. Now you need technology to be like, no, I didn't. Oh my gosh, now I'm stressed. I thought I felt good. Now I see I woke up 50 times last night.
You did it wrong again.
All right, well, we want to hear what you have to say, and you can weigh in with Dave and Molly on their podcast this morning, 6 to 10 a.m.
Yay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Clyde.
Hope you're feeling well rested, sleep app or not, as we're now into this Monday. Hopefully the sun's helping things out when it comes to your sleep schedule. Not too bad out there to start things off this morning in Spokane. A few clouds out there, but we're predominantly dealing with that sunshine, and we're going to have more sunshine as we head later into the day. That's where we start our weather headlines. Sunny, especially through the middle of the day today, late morning, early this afternoon. Then later this afternoon into this evening is when the clouds will start to build back in, and that is a sign of our next weather system to come, because those clouds are eventually going to turn to rain shower activity a bit later tomorrow morning. While many of us are headed out the door in rain, we'll be sticking around for most of the day for many of us. A little less rain down toward areas like the Tri-Cities. High Mountains still receiving some snow. Don't think we'll see too big of impacts when it comes to past travel. Still keep an eye out, though. Could have some snow falling on the roads, but the better accumulation is going to be higher up in elevation. It's good to see that mountain snow, because now that we're in the spring months, any help we can get to our snowpack we will certainly take. Wednesday still a little bit active with some hit and miss showers, but by Thursday, quiet weather pattern builds back in, and we'll actually have a bit of a warming trend as we head into this next weekend. But let's get into the Futurecast model. We want to track the changes that are on the way with that shower activity. As we hit this afternoon, that's when we're going to have that nice sunshine for many of us. A few more clouds already starting to build in toward Yakima and the Tri-Cities, though, at this point. As we get later into the night tonight, few very light showers possible towards central Washington. It's pretty cloudy now across most of the region. And then here we are tomorrow, 8 a.m. central eastern Washington. Those showers are over the top of us, and they just continue to build in as we head through the afternoon. Some strong rainfall totals expected into areas like northeast Washington, the North Idaho Panhandle, Spokane. We should get a nice wetting rain also as we continue into our Wednesday morning. A few more little hit and miss showers are sticking around out there. Not going to be that widespread shower activity, though, like we're going to have tomorrow. Let's talk about those rainfall totals. One model's output here as far as what we could see when it comes to rainfall. Over a quarter of an inch expected right now for Spokane. We could get up around half an inch through the North Idaho Panhandle. As we look over, though, into areas like Moses Lake and the Tri-Cities, though we are going to see rain, we're not going to have a ton of it. Talking hundredths of an inch. Similar story into the LC Valley. You may have a little bit more than those areas, but it's still going to be toward the lower end compared to what we're going to have throughout the rest of the region. That weather system, though, it's attached to this low pressure system that we're watching. It's been building in the Gulf of Alaska. It is pushing that moisture our way with that southwesterly flow as we head into tomorrow. But by Thursday, things flatten back out when it comes to that jet stream. That westerly flow is going to quiet us back down. Not going to give us a big boost in temperatures, though, until we get toward this next weekend. Let's talk temperatures for today. Hitting 61 in Moses Lake. Bit warmer as we drop down in the basin to 64 in the Tri-Cities, 61 into Walla Walla. Meanwhile, Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, don't think we're quite going to reach that 60 mark, though we are just a bit above average for this time of year today, hitting 58. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. We're going to start with Spokane. High temperatures fall down to the upper 40s, low 50s by the middle of the week. Then we do warm up this next weekend. Back to the 60s we go. There's the showers tomorrow with a few scattered showers continuing into Wednesday for Coeur d'Alene. Also, though, hitting that warming trend once we get past Thursday thanks to the sunshine. The Tri-Cities and Yakima, we are going to cool down a little bit as we head toward Wednesday and Thursday. And then we have the potential of getting into the mid-60s, if not maybe peaking toward the 70s by the weekend ahead.
Good morning. Investors are weighing the U.S.'s latest warning against Iran. President Trump threatened an attack on Iranian power plants if the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route for oil, isn't reopened. Iran responded, saying it would target U.S. infrastructure. Iran also said U.S.-linked financial institutions holding American government bonds would be targeted alongside military bases. While United Airlines is cutting more unprofitable flights over the next 2 years as it prepares for a prolonged period of high jet fuel prices, the CEO, Scott Kirby, said on Friday the airline is preparing for oil to rise as high as $175 a barrel and remain above $100 until the end of 2027. Jet fuel prices have nearly doubled since late February. Stocks tumbled in volatile trading on Friday. The move came after Iran and Israel exchanged strikes, and selling ramped up in the afternoon as oil prices rose. Gold had its worst week since 2011 last week, and even with that, it is still higher year to date. Gold has been falling as oil climbs. Well, used electric vehicles may be the answer for Americans looking for affordable cars. That's because a lot of cars purchased during the $7,500 Biden-era federal EV tax credit are coming off standard 3-year leases. Data site Recurrent expects up to 500,000 EVs to come off lease this year, with nearly double that possible next year. From the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King with your morning business report.
All right, thanks, Jane. Still to come this morning here on Wake Up Nonstop Local, we are following high waters in Hawaii. Historic flooding now prompting rescues and evacuations. That's coming up in your next half hour.
And Justin Spinney will have a look at your forecast, a live picture from the Yakima Valley and the city of Yakima this morning. He'll tell you what to expect ahead.
I'm Sam Adams. You're watching NonStop Local News. US 195 in Spokane will be down to one lane in each direction at Meadow Lane Road starting today. Project is looking to address a dangerous intersection there between Eagle Ridge and Qualchin Golf Course by adding a new J-turn. A new sidewalk will also be constructed alongside South Meadow Lane between Eagle Ridge Boulevard and Turner Avenue. Project is expected to be complete by mid to late July. Spokane Transit Authority has now released its findings on this double-decker bus crash from January. The report says the driver took a route without enough clearance for the bus and did not report the problem or check the route with official materials. STA says a third party confirmed navigation system errors and that there was no sign of impairment or fatigue from the driver.
Not a bad day today, picking up where we left off this weekend. A little bit more sunshine on the way. A few clouds, though, to start things off at the southern part of the region. Those should clear out as we head later into this morning. Tomorrow, though, is a different story. The rain is on the way. Expecting widespread shower activity. Over a quarter of an inch of rain possible for areas like Spokane, northeast Washington, and the North Idaho Panhandle. So enjoy today before that rain and the breezy winds arrive tomorrow.
We went down for a regular landing. We came in pretty hard. We immediately hit something and it was just chaos from there.
This morning on Wake Up NonStop Local, 2 people dead after this plane crashed into a fire truck at LaGuardia. What led up to that crash in New York, with dozens still in the hospital.
Also this morning, a deadly Sunday shooting shutting down Wellesley at Crestline. 1 person killed. The major crimes case underway in northeast Spokane.
We've got another quiet day of weather today. Beautiful start to the day, nice sunrise. Many of us already seen that sunshine. That's sticking around most of the day today. By tonight, though, the clouds are on the way, and it's not going to be too much longer until those clouds bring us some rain. We'll talk about the timeline of our next system moving in coming up.
Wake up, you gotta rise to the sun, and here it comes, it's time to make the best of what you got to give. It's all about rising, and I wanna be there.
This is breaking news.
We start with the major breaking story overnight. A pilot and co-pilot are now dead after a plane hit a fire truck at LaGuardia Airport in New York. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kalai Chalk.
And I'm Sam Adams. 41 people were on board that flight. They were hurt and taken to the hospital. 32 have since been released. And now a new photo showing the extent of the damage to the aircraft, the front of the plane. This is posted by the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, who is now on his way to LaGuardia. The Port Authority, meantime, says the fire truck was on its way to a separate incident involving a United flight at the time of the crash.
FAA says there will be no flights in or out of the airport until 11 a.m. Pacific time. The NTSB is launching a team to investigate. And also breaking just into the newsroom, Newark Liberty International Airport has just lifted that ground stop that they put into place earlier this morning.
The FAA says that air traffic controllers had to evacuate a control tower there because of a burning smell coming from the elevator, but the agency says there was no fire.
And meanwhile, travel delays continue amid the partial government shutdown. Here's a look at the Atlanta airport with lines stretching to baggage claim. They've already had 5 flights canceled and 3 delayed this morning.
And we're taking a look right now at the misery map. Meantime, from FlightAware, since midnight, you can see more than 200 cancellations and 400 delays across the U.S. Spokane International reporting no delays or cancellations as of this morning. All right, let's take a live look right now over I-90 in Spokane, where we just had that beautiful sunrise.
Let's get to meteorologist Justin Spinney in the Weather Center. We're looking at another beautiful day before some changes.
Yeah, definitely a day to take advantage of. Enjoy it today. Spend a little time outside if you can, because by tomorrow things are changing. So we want to dive into those changes right now. Cold start to the day today. Temperatures right now into the 30s for many of us. 31 in Spokane. We're into the 20s in the North Idaho Panhandle. 27 in Sandpoint. Coldest temperature, though, no surprise. We're looking at Colville all the way down to 23 degrees. We're at 34 right now into the Tri-Cities. The timeline through today is going to show us that sunshine. By tonight, though, that cloud cover does start to build in. Winds are going to remain relatively light. Toward the Tri-Cities, we're fighting through a few more clouds as we head throughout the day. Better sunshine late this morning into early this afternoon. Then a heavy cloud cover arrives a little bit later, or a little bit earlier, I should say, into the evening tonight. And those clouds, they are turning to rain as we head into tomorrow. Widespread showers across the region. We're talking more about how much rain we can expect and how temperatures will be affected along the way. Coming up, Sam and Clyde.
All right, Justin, thank you. Police right now are investigating a deadly shooting in the Nevada Heights neighborhood of Spokane. It closed part of East Wellesley yesterday morning. Spokane Police Department says that officers responded to that shooting Sunday morning with 2 victims.
They say one person was killed. We don't know the condition of the second victim. Police shut down East Wellesley from Pittsburgh to Crestline. Right now, we're working to find out if there's been an arrest and what led up to that deadly shooting.
Into a traffic alert right now, this one on US 195, where the highway will be down to 1 lane in each direction at Meadow Lane Road.
The project is looking to address a notoriously dangerous intersection near the Eagle Ridge neighborhood and Quelchin Golf Course. NonStop Locals' Giara Cottingham is live now at 195 and Meadow Lane, where that project starts today.
Sam, crossing US 195 on Meadow Lane Road is not easy and can be risky, and that's why crews to my left here are getting ready to begin the process to install J-turns on US 195 to make this an even safer highway to cross. This area has been dangerous for cars turning onto the highway to go south on 195. Right now, drivers have to cross 2 lanes of high-speed traffic while watching for cars coming the other direction. Then drivers turn left and merge with traffic. Let's take a look at a map of the project shared by the city. Drivers traveling both north and south on US 195 will experience work zone lane reductions near the Meadow Lane Road intersection. To give you a better idea of what a J-turn is, you're looking at a video from the Mississippi Department of Transportation explaining how they work. Once the project is complete, all drivers wanting to go south on 195 will turn right and then do a U-turn a short distance away. Crews will also be installing a new sidewalk along south of Meadow Lane Road between Eagle Ridge Boulevard and Turner Avenue. Our local transportation departments found between 2015 and 2019 there were 44 crashes at 3 major intersections along US 195. 3 of those crashes happening here on Meadow Lane Road, and they were severe. Now, the city estimates the project to cost more than $2 million, and it's expected to complete from mid to late July. Reporting in Spokane, I'm Giara Cottingham, NonStop Local.
Thank you. And in a safety alert for you this morning, the Yakima River reaching minor flood stage overnight as it is cresting just west of the Tri-Cities.
Water levels are reaching over 13 feet near the Keona Gauge in Benton City. That's where we find NonStop Local's Chris Wright this morning.
Good morning, guys. Now I'm here, Benton City, right across from the bridge over in the recreation area, and the boat landing is actually right behind me. And I've been here since about 4:30 this morning, kind of tracking these floods stages. Now, right before the 4:30, we were checked over at Beach RV Park because they got a couple areas that are low elevation over there. So far, not a whole lot of damage because this is much lower than what we actually expected. Now, this is what we have been tracking. This is according to NOAA, which is the National Water Prediction Service. So that crest is expected to be earlier, 5 o'clock this morning. It was originally forecast to be well over 13.5 feet, now sticking closer to 13 feet and hugging that minor flooding line after rainfall upstream to the west turned out to be less than anticipated. However, this is still enough for a level 1 ready evacuation notice for residents from West Richland to Benton City around the river, according to Benton County Fire District 2. Now, something else to note, that Natchez River between Yakima and Natchez expecting to stay in that minor flood stage throughout this week, hitting another crest Wednesday afternoon around 5 p.m. So stay alert if you live or you're driving in that stretch of US 12 along the river. The only unfortunate thing so far is 2 goats were found kind of floating in the river that were rescued. You can find that story at our website at nonstoplocal.com. They did turn out to be okay, just a little bit dirty. But for now, live from Benton City, Chris Wright, Nonstop Local.
Thank you. 7:37 this morning. Time to take a look at your top local news headlines coming to us from the Tri-Cities and Yakima.
Here's Nonstop Local's Colby and Brad.
In Prosser, a man who crashed into a fence is now facing new charges after deputies say he tried to hide his identity. The Benton County Sheriff's Office says deputies responded to the crash and found the man still inside his vehicle. Deputies say he tried to give a fake name and date of birth, but after searching, they confirmed who he was. The Sheriff's Office says the man had warrants for a prior DUI domestic violence and felony assault. Deputies booked him on a new DUI charge and the outstanding warrants. The city of Connell is still trying to boost its economy a year and a half after Lamb Weston closed its potato plant and laid off hundreds of workers. The Tri-Cities Area Journal of Business reports the city lost $34,000 in sales tax revenue in the third quarter of 2025. Mayor Shelley Harper says Connell is facing a tighter budget, lower property values, and slower home sales. The city plans to market itself to new businesses and beautify the area, while Lamb Weston will keep the land even after the plant is demolished later this year. A section of Railroad Avenue in Pasco will close this week as crews install a signalized railroad crossing for the Ryman Industrial Center. The Port of Pasco says the closure runs from March 27th through March 30th, just north of Granite Construction and south of Darigold. No through traffic will be allowed, but local access will remain. Drivers can use Highway 395 and Karchner Street as detours. Crews will work around the clock to finish the rail connection to the BNSF network. For Nonstop Local, I'm Colby and Brad.
Parts of Hawaii are coping with massive flooding after days of rain. This is video from Oahu, which has been the hardest hit by the extreme weather. Thousands have been evacuated, and authorities say it's the worst flooding in 20 years.
Meteorologist Justin Spinney joins us right now from the Weather Center tracking these historic floods.
Yeah, Sam and Kalai, I want to show you this video to give you the scope of what people on Oahu are dealing with right now. The National Guard has been on the ground since yesterday, helping rescue and evacuate people. You can see how high the water is next to some of the cars parked along the road and Guard members wading through the waist-deep waters. First responders rescued more than 200 people. Now, if we zoom out a little bit more, all the brown and reddish areas you see here are flooded spots, and much of that area is farmland, which is not what we want to see for farmers growing crops in that area. You can also see some of the parts where the ocean water has come in from the beach, which spells doom for anything growing there, and foundations for beachfront homes. All of this flooding caused by some heavy and excessive rain in that area, caused by a weather system locally referred to as a Kona low, and that rain is continuing into today, specifically for the Big Island, which is under an aerial flood watch with flash flooding possibilities, a real possibility for today. So we'll continue to keep an eye on what's going on in the Big Island and throughout Hawaii as we head throughout the day. Then hopefully there's a little bit of a break as we head later into the week. Kalai and Sam.
All right, thank you. So many people too, vacation there or grew up there, but a lot of us are just know because identify that land because they visit, and so it looks a lot different now when you're seeing this natural disaster and all that flood water.
Yeah, and they're telling all the people, by the way, if you are on the island right now, especially on the North Shore, to stay off those roads. People, unless you're coming in to be part of the solution, don't be part of the problem. Stay off those roads.
All right, still to come here on Wake Up Nonstop Local. Play ball. Mariners opening day is almost here.
All right, we're going to find out who's going to be the starting pitcher on opening day for the M's coming up. All right, Mariner fans, get ready. The team closes out spring training today in Arizona. They'll play their 2026 season opener this coming Thursday. Hopes are, of course, pretty high after coming one run away from the World Series just last year. Here's SWX's Grady Glover with your Sports Minute.
We have Mariners baseball and Washington State football this week. Can you believe it? I'm Grady Glover with the Sports Minute. After making the American League Championship last season and getting All-Star Brendan Donovan in the offseason, expectations and excitement around the Mariners season very high going into this year. Logan Gilbert will be the opening day starter for the Mariners against Cleveland on Thursday. Also on Thursday, the first day of spring practice for the Washington State Cougars. It'll be a lot of firsts this year for the Cougs. First year under new head coach Kirby Moore, first year with a completely rebuilt Pac-12 conference schedule, and they'll be the first year with a new quarterback under center. We have both Julian Duggar and transfer Caden Pinnock, who came from UC Davis, currently the front runners to win the job, but it'll be another season of not knowing the starter at least through spring ball and likely won't figure it out until the fall. The Spokane Chiefs, they wrapped up their regular season with a loss to the Seattle Thunderbirds. That put them as the 6th seed heading into the WHL playoffs, and they'll head to Prince George for the first round. Game 1 of the playoff series starts on Friday. I'm Grady Glover, and that's the Sports Minute.
Thank you, Grady. Gearing up for baseball season, which is always a fun time of year because that means the sun's going to be coming out more for one, and we're seeing that sunshine today. That's where we're going to start our weather headlines. For many of us, sunny start to the day today. I think we'll see the peak of that sunshine, even down to what areas like the Tri-Cities where it's a bit cloudier later this morning into this afternoon. Later this afternoon into this evening, though, is when the heavier cloud cover is actually really going to start to build in. And by tomorrow, that is going to bring us widespread rain shower activity. Could have some high mountain snow also. Don't think it's going to affect that pass travel. Up above the pass roadways, though, is where we could see some snow accumulation, and we'd like to see that snow accumulation. Any help we can get with our snowpack as we're now officially in spring, we would certainly take. As we start to look ahead, once we get past Wednesday, things really start to quiet down, a quiet weather pattern to end the week. And as we head into this next weekend, we'll get a bit of a warming trend around that time as well. But let's track the showers for you as we head into this afternoon. No shower chances. Again, this is where we're going to have some sunshine, although those clouds are starting to build back in. And by tonight, it is cloudy across the entirety of the region. Talking a few light rain showers out towards central Washington late tonight. They would be very light rain showers at that. As we continue into tomorrow morning, here we are at 8 a.m. That's when the rain starts to build in into eastern Washington, North Idaho, and it continues to build in even stronger as we head through tomorrow afternoon. It is going to be a rainy day across the inland Northwest. By tomorrow night, those showers finally start to taper off. Into Wednesday we go. It'll still be a little bit windy out there, but the showers themselves become a lot more scattered and hit and miss. Some of us may even stay completely dry into our Wednesday. But let's take a look at the upper level pattern as we're anticipating these changes. This low pressure system is what's spinning that active weather our direction. That's what's given us the rain showers as we head through the day tomorrow. As we continue into Wednesday, Thursday, we'll start to see that jet stream flatten back out. More westerly upper level flow coming our way. So we're not getting that big push of moisture. That's going to push some of that cloud cover away as we head toward the end of the week. Not going to give us a lot of help with temperature, though. It's going to take the sunshine to really help start to warm us up. Looking at those shower chances, though, over the next 7 days, tomorrow is going to be the most active day of the week. Just those hit and miss showers by Wednesday, and after that, we dry back out, and we should stay pretty dry all the way through this next weekend. Let's talk temperatures, though, for today. Heading the upper 50s in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. A little bit cooler up into Sandpoint in the mid-50s there. Low 60s for many of the rest of us, though, from the Okanagan Valley all the way down to Moses Lake. The Tri-Cities getting up toward the mid-60s, and that's going to be one of our warmest areas at 64 degrees. Taking a look at our 7-day forecast, though, bit of a cooling trend all the way up until about Thursday. Low temperatures will get back below freezing as we head through the middle of the week. Then we will warm back up a bit as we head to this next weekend. Back into the 60s we go for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. Bit of a roller coaster ride to get there, though, as we head throughout this week. But you can see there on Thursday, that's when the sun really pops back out. As we look toward the Tri-Cities and Yakima, we're also going to take a pretty good sized temperature drop tomorrow. And as we head into Wednesday, then things warm back up for the back half of the week. Also thanks to that sunshine making an appearance once again.
All right, Justin, thank you. A pilot and co-pilot are now dead after a plane crashed into a fire truck at LaGuardia Airport in New York.
That's our top story in Morning Rush. The plane hit a fire truck while landing, while the truck was headed to an incident on a United Airlines flight. FAA says there will be no flights in or out of the airport until 11 a.m. Pacific time. NTSB is launching a team to investigate.
ICE agents have now been deployed to airports across the country to help TSA with those growing security lines during this ongoing partial government shutdown. The border czar, Tom Homan, says they'll be prioritizing the longest lines. He doesn't believe that agents would be performing security screenings like monitoring X-ray machines.
And new to Morning Rush, President Trump has posted on Truth Social this morning saying he'll halt strikes to Iran's power infrastructure for 5 days during negotiations for a potential off-ramp to the war. He says if the deal isn't reached, bombing will continue.
And checking in on gas prices this morning, according to AAA, the national average for a gallon of gas is now up to $3.96. That's up 2 cents from yesterday. Washington State up to $5.27 a gallon. That's up 9 cents from a day ago. Idaho well above $4 a gallon right now at $4.11.
Spokane police are investigating a deadly shooting in northeast Spokane near Wellesley and Crestline. Happened Sunday morning. We know there were 2 victims and that one was killed. Right now, we're working to find out if there's been an arrest and what led up to the deadly shooting.
Ellensburg police say one man has been arrested after a fire damaged a church. Officers say the fire broke out at a church in the 200 block of North Ruby Street. Church staff giving police video surveillance, helping identify the suspect. Police found that man near University Way and C Street and arrested him after a short standoff.
A section of Railroad Avenue in Pasco is getting ready to close. Crews are installing a signalized railroad crossing. Port of Pasco says the closure runs from March 27th through the 30th, just north of Granite Construction and south of Dairygold. Only local access will remain open.
Okay, before we wrap it up here this morning, wanted to pass along some breaking sports news for Seahawk fans out there. They've just signed Jackson Smith and Jigba to get this 4-year, $168 million extension. It makes him now the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. Wow.
That means your JSN jersey is still going to be good for a few more years.
Absolutely. It might cost you a few more bucks, though, to help offset that contract.
It's fun to see these new contracts come in because it just sets a new bar every time. And, you know, there's other wide receivers out there now going, if JSN is making that,
what can I make?
Pay me up now, too.
All right, well, as always, we thank you so much for joining us here on the Wake Up Show. We're going to end with this, a gorgeous shot from the west side of the state, the cherry blossoms at the University of Washington campus. You're watching NonStop Local. I'm Kalai Chalk. Spokane police are investigating a deadly shooting in northeast Spokane near Wellesley and Crestline. Happened Sunday morning. They say there were 2 victims. We know at least one of them was killed. Now we're working to find out if there's been an arrest and what led up to the deadly shooting.
We're picking up right where we left off this weekend today. Some sunshine, temperatures a bit above average, hitting the upper 50s today in Spokane. Winds are going to be calm and light as we head throughout the day today, and we're not expecting to see any showers, but that is going to change as we head into tomorrow. The next weather system is on the way. That's going to bring us some widespread rain. Also going to be a little bit windy as we head through our Tuesday, continuing into our Wednesday. By Thursday, though, the quiet weather and the sunshine will make a return.
This morning on Wake Up Nonstop Local, tragedy at LaGuardia. The airport in New York still shut down after a deadly collision between a plane and a fire truck on the runway. What led up to it, with 2 people dead, dozens more injured.
And ICE agents step in at the airport. Will they help ease long lines at airport security? Where they're headed, coming up.
Also this morning, historic heat.
150 weather records broken. The scorching temps across the Southwest. Justin Spinney tracking the extreme temperatures.
Unfortunately, we aren't dealing with temperatures like that. The inland Northwest, a little bit above average today, and we got some sunshine, but big changes are on the way with the weather system headed our direction. We'll talk about those changes coming up in your forecast.
Wake up, you gotta rise to the sun, and here it comes, it's time to make the best of what you got to give. It's all about rising, and I wanna be there.
Our top story this morning, 2 people are dead after a plane crashed on the runway at LaGuardia Airport in New York.
The Port Authority says an Air Canada plane collided with a Port Authority fire truck on the runway late last night. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kalai Chalk.
And I'm Sam Adams. Both the pilot and the co-pilot on board the aircraft were killed in the crash. There were 76 passengers, 4 crew members on board the plane. This is according to Jazz Aviation, which operates as Air Canada Express. In total, 41 people were treated in local hospitals, some seriously injured.
The airline says the flight was coming in from Montreal. This morning, investigators are looking into how the collision happened and what led up to it. LaGuardia is closed until 11 o'clock Pacific time this morning.
Bit of a chilly start to the day for many of us, but we're coming off a really nice weekend where a lot of us did see the sun shine, and we could have more of that in the forecast depending on where you are in the region today. As we look toward Yakima, we are right at freezing right now at 32. The Tri-Cities at 34. Spokane just barely below freezing at 31. The heaviest cloud cover in the region right now is actually over the Tri-Cities. So as we flip on over to our satellite and radar, you can see those clouds are